Welcome to the DevCast, the only show taking you down the rabbit hole of game development. Your guides to the industry are Robin Andrew, Chaz Barker, and Mark Hollier. Thank you, Offworld, for sponsoring this episode.
All right. Our first agenda item I wanted to get into because we are in the process of doing a company summit. That's where we bring in our talent from outside of our local area and do pitch jams and game jams, innovation jams, and all that kind of stuff. But there's one thing that I found with all my my experience with the different studios is the work hard, play hard mentality.
We work hard, but we play hard. Dun, 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 dun.
That brings me into the drinking culture. You guys and your Simpsons. Drinking culture in video games.
Yeah.
Video game industry.
Well, I mean, we have a Thirsty Thursday here too.
Yeah.
It's the last Thursday of every month, Thursday, and yeah, like I can remember. Well, you've worked in other studios, and I know Chaz, you worked in. You were at Black Box and those places. Yeah, we had beer and cake.
Beer and cake turned into beer and cheer, turned into Thursdays.
And if you're wondering why they paired beer and cake, is because there's so many people in that office. It was always someone's birthday that week.
That was what they were selling it as.
Yeah, that's true. You go in, there'd be like a little bit of cake eaten, and it's like, where'd all the booze? Like everyone's just
Well,
Wines
at
and-
Black Box, they had like six to 10 cakes.
Yeah. At Ubisoft, we had a tap in the kitchen.
Yeah.
That was just like a tap to a keg that was like underneath like the center island, and we people would use that, and after work we'd have D&D, and we'd be filling up our mugs and drinking from that as well. But the culture of this, it's like
I think it stems from the idea that, yes, we're asking you to work a lot of hours, but to do that, we're giving you fuel to be able to complain and bitch and de-stress because of it.
You know what? It is. Like, it becomes a social thing where you all get together and people always want to have a voice. And you're right. It is an outlet, and things get out a little bit easier sometimes with a little bit of liquid
Courage.
Yeah. So, I mean, but what do I think about it?
Do you have any stories
Oh.
that you would like to share? I have
You start.
a little story of
I'm gonna test the water.
how
based
I
off
was
of-
there for when a hole was punched into the wall at Beer and Cake in Black Box.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
and it was almost squashed because of it.
Yeah. Well, they're always trying to
Yeah.
find a reason to
Save money.
save money, cut it, or just try and control people's
Yeah.
natural impulses in some ways.
Yeah, it was.
For good reason, because it's a liability, right?
Oh,
It is company
100%.
liability, and it is.
On the top floor with the balcony outside
Yep.
with low railings.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's been many a night that it's spilled over.
The
from
spiral
beer and-
staircases, dude. Yeah,
Well,
people have
spilling over
fallen
from-
down that.
From Beer and Cake to the downtown Vancouver area where we are a problem for everyone concerned, and that's happened multiple times.
Right, I mean,
there
we're
were
going
times
out-
when we went to lunch. Specifically, one of the teams on Need for Speed, I remember this, that we went to lunch, and then we drank at lunch, and then came to Beer and Cake, and then drank a Beer and Cake, and then went back to the pub afterwards, and it went on like that, and it was
did.
this. It was turned into like a mini adventure, and some of us got home at like 2:00, 3:00 in the morning.
right in the middle of finaling. We had our
That
leads
was-
take us out for lunch. Go have some drinks. You've worked hard, and then we called those our 2-hour lunches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason why I think a lot of it started was the British drinking culture kind of infecting the culture of wherever the British people kind of ended up.
So we're blaming you for all the things that have gone wrong.
That's my perception.
To alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
Because the drinking culture in England is what it is in most Northern European countries. And yeah, wherever I went, Montreal, it was there. And they would say, hey, in the interviews, they would say, hey, by the way, we have beers after work on whatever day.
Yeah.
And they'd be
It's
like,
almost
it's
a
on
perk.
it is an employment recruitment tool. That's how bad it is, or good it is.
I mean, depending on what you look at as well, it gives an opportunity for all people, all, ranks or whatever you want to call it in the company, then to, bump up to, execs or whatever. And hey, after a couple drinks, yeah, you've got that look of courage to maybe do your elevator pitch for something. Does that get right? Maybe they grab onto it then. It does allow for a lot of movement. It kind of reminds me of the smoke culture as well. Like, I don't smoke anymore, but and at the time I was trying to quit, and I was at Black Box, and yeah, the people would say, yeah, let's go down for a smoke, and the people that would be going down for the smoke were like the leads,
Some execs.
some of the execs, and so you go down and you have a smoke just to get your to talk about things,
Get
FaceTime, get ideas across or whatever, and you do it totally against your health, and you're like, I know I shouldn't be doing this, but that is where a lot of decisions got made during a smoke break. And then it'd be crazy because I've been, after I quit, it's like, yeah, people would come back and like, we're doing this now. I'd be like, what the hell just happened? It's like, oh, well, so-and-so said this thing down on, we're having a smoke and whatever. And it's like, oh, and I know someone that used to go down he didn't smoke, but he's like, oh, I'll go down for fresh air. Because that person knew, it's like, oh, well, I want to be involved in this. I don't want this to escape, and but yeah, that's that part of the culture is.
Do you find it's dying?
I think slowly, yeah. It's not as prevalent as when I started in the industry.
Well, I mean, a lot of stuff in the industry back then, like all kinds of shit would go on. Like going to E3. Whoa.
Yeah, the booth wave.
Yeah, that whole thing has changed.
Yep.
And after companies would say, "Oh, this thing has happened at E3 last year. We don't want a repeat of this." You remember, you're wearing our company badges. You're
representing the place.
You're representing us, exactly. So
one of the
even during the summit, we had that talk too, right during our town hall. It's like, by the way, people are going to want to get together, have some drinks. You haven't seen old colleagues in like a year, and it's that moment when you're going out, and we're all wearing Offworld hoodies and apparel and stuff. It's like, just remember, you're still out there representing the company, even after hours.
It's become more professional, but
it has.
When I joined, I was working in Guildford in the UK, which is where Criterion Games is located, and Peter Molyneux's company was located. A bunch of game development companies were there. EA had an office in Chertsey. There was a whole vibe of the place. You would run into other industry professionals at the pub in Guildford. There were multiple pubs.
I mean, we do that. We have that here as well, but we'll talk about that later.
Each pub, belonged to a certain company, and if you went into that pub without belonging to that company, there'd be raised eyebrows, and then, there would be that territoriality. But one of the other things that pubs in general, drinking culture, create is a third space, right? It's not your family location. It's not your work location. It is a third space. It is the public house.
It's the DMZ.
It is where people go to socialize. So most of the people in the games industry have some kind of, mental condition or they have a predisposition to being, sole workers. They work on computers all the time, especially back in those day and age. The people who knew how to program were like devoting immense amounts of their lives to this thing. And so a lot of people had, social anxiety. They had, development to, ADHD. There was a lot of quirky characters, and that was a good leveling playing field and a way to socialize. And when we say work hard, play hard, there's other connotations to that, which is we're all a big family, right?
Yeah.
That's a common refrain to a lot of creative industries, and I've seen it go really, really well. And I've seen it go really, really bad. But the common connection is a big third space that we all have a level playing field. We all get to have a few too many and say what we think to the wrong person. Or the right person.
Right. They wake up the next day and like, oh.
And I tell you, I won a trip to Spain when I was working on a game, and the bands in the soundtrack of the game were all part of this marketing event, and like the head of BMG and Sony and all these music labels were in attendance in the VIP area, and the developers of the game were in the VIP area. And I gave a good talking to the head of Sony Music Entertainment, and I gave him a good piece of my mind. And it was a good vent session, as if he was another developer, just having a pint. And this guy humored me and he was very, very gracious, and I was very proud of myself for that.
So you know what? You have to watch it. Watching what you're saying when you're out in public, that obviously you don't talk about the game that you're working on out in public, or you try to.
One of the hardest things to do.
It is, and we've been in pubs even here in Vancouver, and we've run into other developers and CEOs or founders or whatever of other companies just by chance. It's like, whoa. So like you never know.
Never know who's in the next booth.
You never know who's in the next booth at all. I mean, thankfully the ones that we bumped into, it's like, oh hey, it was around a jacket. It was like, yeah, I like your jacket because I got that jacket, and it's like, and he's a founder. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, it is a good thing we weren't going off about anything that's sensitive material for the company. But I see just the way that the smoke culture has changed, and it's died off like a lot. It's changed a lot. Like it's rare to see people going down for smokes now in the company.
You get a lot of bad news at Beer and Cake sometimes as well. I remember one.
Oh, yeah. Or the rumors. The rumors would start to spread.
Oh, the rumor mill, yeah.
But I remember one specific day when I was a junior, and a very nice-looking lady invited me out for a pint after work. And I thought, oh, well, this is nice. And she took us to the pub, and everyone's there. And then, she takes me aside, and she said, the feature you're working on, it's cut. And to give you some context, it's like 3 months of Death March crunch.
Did she wait until you got a couple in you though before she did it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the proper way to do it.
That's the proper way. The British way is to,
get a little lit and then
let's liquor you up real good.
Yeah.
But then I started crying. It was like in public space, and I just started like bawling. Not in a kind of woe is me sense, but in a term of like just emotional release and not knowing what to do with that energy. Mm-hmm. It was a very strange, it was a surreal experience, because you're not like openly weeping, but you're kind of just blubbering. You don't know what to say, and it was, and she was crying and I was crying. And
oh God!
It was very non-British. It was great.
Wow. Yeah.
No. But it was done. That was the other thing. I was like, I don't have to fucking work on that fucking world map anymore.
I'm trying to be sensitive. I'm being insensitive.
You can be whatever you like.
You cry, baby.
Doesn't bother me.
Toughen up.
Doesn't bother me. Nothing phases me anymore. They cut my world map.
Oh.
That actually leads right into the next thing that I want to talk about, which is features that you were working on that were cut or pushed back and never released.
As lead game designer, most of them.
Anything that would stand out.
Yeah. So
Anyone listening to this right now, I'm looking at your stuff. It's gonna be cut. And that's gonna be cut.
full games have been like killed.
Yep.
That's pretty dark times when you've worked on it for a year, and we're going in a different direction is commonly the phrase. I remember it was a music-based game, and we were doing very experimental stuff, and wasn't working. We weren't getting much good feedback. But at that point, sunk cost fallacy is in full effect.
Oh, yeah.
You've devoted many hours of your life, daytime, nighttime. It's what you think about all the time. You're trying to solve this problem, and sometimes you can't. In game design, we call it cursed problem. But you don't know it's cursed until you come up
reach
against
that
it,
point.
and you fail, and then Balatro comes along and says, "Oh, I solved it," and you go, "Fuck." But
Yeah, I think
it's
that's
not just about that.
That's the one. God, that's the thing that when something gets cut and you believe that it's like, no, this we need to have this. You're working from this. You have to be careful not to get into this emotional connection, and this is one of the things that I try to teach anyone that I've worked with is like, you got to drop the emotional connection to this. If it doesn't make it, it doesn't make it, and there are reasons beyond. It's not personal. But then what the real stinger is for that person is like when your competitor or another game comes out and they use that exact same mechanic or feature, and it's like, we're rich because we based it all off of this thing, and they're like, you didn't listen. And then it just builds that layer of mistrust to the people that said, well, it's cut. Well, it's cut for different reasons.
It's cut for different reasons.
It just didn't fit with the product right now.
Yep.
Or
We need to ship.
we need to ship. Oh yeah. It's like we need to ship.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of designers try and pitch something that isn't technically feasible. That's also something I've seen quite a lot. And
Well, I mean,
I've been, even as an ex-engineer, I've done the same, where I'm trying to pitch something. Say it's like let's change the physics system so that it's like this, and that's you get the physics engineer on your ass pretty quickly, going, that's not how math works, bro. You're like, well, shut up.
see, this is kind of crazy. Like going back to like the beer and cake, or the right now with our summit the summit that's going on. We've got like the innovation jam and the pitch jam. People put in work, for these couple days that they're working on it, and they present it. Most of the stuff gets kind of either, this would be nice to have, or we just can't do that. And so does it feel like, why did I even bother pitching this then? Why did I do this? It's company mandate. You have to do this. But I think the takeaway for any of these kind of things are you're flexing your design muscles. You're flexing creativity. That is your gain. And you're showing people that even though this is a feature that you'll maybe never take, or even if it was kind of silly and it didn't quite fit the product, you're still showing that you're putting yourself out there on the line, and you have to get up and present, and you have to you're showing that creativity aspect. And I appreciate that more than anything, because that takes a lot to do that. So, that's a celebration if it doesn't make it. So thankfully this year, by the way, oh my God, there's some good ones.
Try working at a company that doesn't encourage that.
Yeah.
I've been plenty of companies that don't encourage you to be creative. And they're like, be creative, but specifically on what we want you to be creative on. And that is part of the job, but it's a much nicer headspace or culture to be in, to say, hey, pitch your ideas. Mm-hmm. And they pitch. The word is pitch. It's not, let's commit to this, give me the right design, and we're going to do this. It is, let's throw a lot of things on the wall, think about it, and analyze. But maybe, sometimes you can do everything right and still fail, right? You can still just be in the wrong place, the wrong time. That's just the way it goes. So I think it's a very important process to learn how to let go of ideas, as well as to generate them.
Yep. Be emotionally invested while you're making it. That can help push you to make, put out the best creativity that you can. But don't get emotionally connected to it when you're pitching, like, and it's you just have to remove that, because now you're putting it in front of people with that have different priorities, or different viewpoints. Like, they're seeing like a product from a lot longer down the road, or for
Shorter
certain,
or shorter.
or shorter, like based on a milestone or
Like
whatever
you're
release.
pitching and like break down who you're pitching to. Like you're usually
Yeah.
pitching to like producers. You're pitching to lead designers. You're pitching to the lead technical person. Publishers. So like as soon as you get those people in there, they're looking at the grand scale of things of, hey, how can I market this? How can I do this? Like, it would be great for the game, no doubt.
There's been like, not even as just I wouldn't really call this a feature or whatever, but I can remember working on, I guess it was part of a feature using like in this one game with AI pathing, and like the characters moving along at certain rates, a certain set of speed and whatever. And I'm like, this flows. This just works really well. And then having this producer come in, which was at the time a very high respected producer. He was brought on from another team to take over this one, and says, no, I want it like this. And I was like, it's not going to work well with this at all. Trust me on this one. He says, no, you got to change this or whatever. And it's like, okay. And this was like early on. This is like one of my first design jobs. And I changed it, and people complained about it after it got released. They're like, oh, they're always in the way, these characters and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, because they're not moving with the speed I intended, because he wanted to be like still like posts. And I'm like, if you just would have listened. But I got over that. And there's been moments too about, I think I've talked to you this, and a couple of people internally have heard this story. It wasn't for someone here, but I was working on a feature, and it was for like a big moment in this one extreme sports game, let's call it. It was for this. It was like one of the last moments in the game, and the design was it was meant to be very difficult. It had to be difficult because it fit. It fit the culture of what this game was trying to do. And this producer came over from the studio one of the studios that you were at.
My old studios, yeah.
Yeah. And man, he was like saying, no, you got to change it like this. And, I went to explain it, and he lost his shit.
Yep.
And he was swearing and saying, do this, you effing do this, or, and just like losing. And this is like, I was the only one in the office in that early in the morning, because I was like, yeah, I'm working on this and putting it into. And he did it. And I said, sure, man, fine, I'll change it. And I changed it right there. And he says, look, see, that's great. And I'm like, yep, okay, thanks, guy. And then he walked away, and I fucking reversed it. And I changed it back. And my God, and because at that, yeah, and it was like, first of all, don't treat me like that. I lose all respect, even from a professional standpoint, if you're going to scream and yell at another person that you're working with. Which he did that to me, and I just reversed it back to what I wanted, and it turned out to be great. And that was like, thank God that didn't turn out to be shit or be my ass. But
yeah, the culture of fear is infectious.
Yeah, like,
and it's really hard to stop it once it's started.
Yeah,
because usually the person who's creating that culture is the founder of the company. It's their bunny. It's it's their baby. They're looking at you like you don't give a shit, and you're just there to push buttons, and you're not pushing the right buttons, and it
infuriates them.
It becomes infuriating.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
that's the us versus them culture, and that's the problem with the family.
Well, that's also like you get into people being afraid of different people in different positions, and that's changed a lot, and we can touch on this a bit as well, like earlier on, women in games, coming up with ideas and stuff like that. There's been points where, and it's already recorded and seen, that they weren't respected enough because they were women. I'm like, that's crazy, first of all, but that was like a culture that had to go through a bit of a shift, and as thankfully we've gone through that, and we're still trying to push it forward, making make sure equality and all that's coming up. But back then, yeah, it would weigh down hard on them, and they had a much harder time trying to get their ideas across, or pitches and so forth. And
People stealing their ideas for them.
people steal. Oh my God, yeah, people stealing their ideas and pass it off of their own, and it's sickening.
Yeah.
And there's been big strides to fix that, and hopefully we just keep going. Yeah, quality is a good thing, and it doesn't matter if you're a producer, designer, whatever. Like, treat people like they're human.
Treat them with respect. Yeah.
Treat them with respect. Don't treat them the way I treat Chaz.
I can't bear another thrashing.
Yeah. You'll get one if you just shut the fuck up.
Cool. We'll roll into what you're playing now. I know we've hit these episodes really quickly. So, is there any other games other than Arc Raiders that you're playing right now?
What am I playing right now? Yeah, you know what? Actually, and this is come to no surprise. I'm playing the Simpsons Fortnite island while it's around. It's around for a limited time. They just rebuilt Springfield, so I'm getting my Simpsons on. And yeah, if you know me, when you play with me on that, I go right for Burns' mansion because I release the hounds and I just laugh like Sorry, I was trying to do a Burns laugh.
I can tell what you're trying to do. Yeah,
it's the one where where does he do that? It like kind of pans away, and the camera goes low, and the lighting gets high contrast, and he's like stealing candy from a baby. No, that was a different one. Anyways, I digress.
Yeah,
I'm playing Simpsons Fortnite right now, and because it's great. It
scratches that Simpsons itch.
Oh, it does, and it makes me go looking around for all the little things that I go.
Easter eggs.
All the Easter eggs. Yeah.
So
Camp
do you even
Krusty.
play the game, or are you just walking around the world?
I essentially mostly at this one I'm just looking around the world. I don't care. Oh yeah, he killed me. I don't care. I'm gonna roll back in. But like I said, I will go to Burns's mansion and I'll release the hounds there, so then I can walk around and my hounds take care of anyone else that's coming in, and I find that absolutely hilarious because I get to be Mr. Burns at that point. And if you can't see what I'm doing right now, but I'm doing the Burns thing with my fingers.
I'm playing a bit of Planet Crafters with my friend from the UK, and yeah, really enjoying that. That's a very, kind of standard survive 'em up space exploration, planetary exploration game. But you're building heaters and you're building power generation and all this kind of stuff to eventually turn the planet like blue and habitable, and you're kind of a convict, and that's your role in the game. But it's very collaborative and very creative, and it's like Minecraft but more hard science.
So terraforming.
Terraforming.
Yep.
Oh, okay. You put it in that sense. I like that better. Terraforming. So actually, the other thing I've been playing quite a bit of is Grounded, because I know Grounded 2 is out, but I got to get through the first one, and I deal with phobia that's in that game and nightmares.
Where are you in Dungeon Crawler Carl? And for those of you, before we start, there is a bit of spoilers, so you can fast forward through this section.
I'll tell you what I am doing. I am annoying my coworkers by telling them why the hell haven't they been listening to this.
You know how long it took us to get you to listen to it?
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm spreading that pain to other people, because they should be. Anyways,
a light nag, just a light, just insistent nag.
Yeah.
That's you.
By the way, have you listened
every day? And just
What do you think a game designer does?
He's like this grating background noise, like constantly.
In the books that you've read so far, is there anything in that? I know there's a lot, but is there something that has pinged your brain of this is great design?
I mean,
a lot of it.
It's so much of it. I mean, I love their loot boxes, their how things appear on the map. There's a lot of different things. It's not just so basic. You've got like, oh, it went from white, oh, it can turn to red, and that means it's turned from friendly to enemy. And oh, wait, it switched back again, and you're like, whoa, how is that even possible? And anyways, I'm into where I am at. To answer your first question, it's book 3, episode 16 right now. Because the summit's been taking up a lot of my time, I get home and unfortunately I'll be listening to it. I'm just so exhausted from the summit, and of course, being out late into that, that culture of having drinks and what have you.
Team dinners.
Team dinners, and I've been like falling asleep listening to it, and then it's frustrating because as I'm walking, to catch the SkyTrain or something like that, I'm trying to figure out. No, I don't remember that. Don't remember that. In some cases, I have to go back like a whole chapter. So my progress this week has been slow, but it's still been good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also scratches an itch around trains. Like as a kid, I was obsessed with trains.
Yeah. The one thing that they don't say in the audiobook, trains don't matter.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you don't need to understand where the train lines are going, what the train lines are doing, and because there's hundreds of lines, and they're all different colors, and they're all different descriptions, and there's different trains on the lines.
Well, I got to the portal part.
He's explaining all these things.
Yeah.
And some people in the book, the author goes, "Don't worry about the train lines and the trains." But in the audiobook, they don't preface it. So some people who are listening to the audiobook will be trying to figure out what the trains mean, what the train lines are going to.
They actually kind of alluded to that a little bit because there's this part where Carl's listening to like the, how he's figured out how to do set up all these chat things in his head. And it's like someone says, oh, what does this color mean? This line is purple. And he's trying to like share the knowledge of it. But then this person's just being like, I don't understand. It's this, and he's like, I chose to mute that conversation, and he basically, when he's doing that, he's like, I get all these questions, but I just whatever. He kind of just brushes it away. So I think that in a part is like it doesn't really matter. You need to know where they end up, because. So that's the thing. If you're on a track, you're on a track. You're on for the ride. You're not. You're like, oh man, this is gonna make a 15 degree turn around this mountain or do all the. It doesn't matter. It matters where the destination is.
What I do think is he had
that portal,
something...
that big massive canyon. Oh, that's awesome. I love that part.
What I do think is he had something in his head that it was very complicated and very elegantly designed in abstract that then he was trying to explain in a book, which is a masterclass in what you shouldn't do. Mm-hmm. But also he's adding a preface.
I mean, the rails it's like spaghetti.
It's spaghetti, and it's a big metaphor for something at the end. But he
don't spoil it on me. I'm not done this book.
I just said metaphor. Everything's a metaphor.
Yeah.
Sure, let's go with that. But yeah, that's the interesting thing in the elegance of the game design is trying to get the player to a certain space and then saying, this bit doesn't matter, but I've got you there. So you can imagine something like Portal, the game Portal, and how they managed to do something very, very complex that was very confusing and outside of what players' brains could really do. And they said, you're thinking in portals now. And they made things particularly, simple, but yet discoverable. And that's a great thing for an author to take something that could be as boring as World of Warcraft, in essence. I mean, boring in the sense of it's understandable fantasy world. And he's just playing with all these Lego pieces that he's jumbling up in the air and mixing with different technologies and going all over the place, but still getting somewhere meaningful.
Yeah. I think, around the train part, it is a big spaghetti kind of, of tracks. And initially when it first started, I too was trying to be like, how am I going to keep track of all these different lines? What does this line mean? This line, and it just does. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's just too much.
Yeah, and going back to the what stuff, the mechanics or stuff within games do I really like? I love it when they do achievements, and I love it when you open up loot boxes in the show when Carl and Donut are opening them, because I'm like, ooh, what are all the different levels mean, and the stuff that's like, oh yeah, you get a whole bunch of junk with the low end tier.
Bronze, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, when you first in the first book, you get this and these other levels, and they're like, and you think, oh, that could be useful and that's interesting, and that shit as you progress up in level, it just means nothing now. But they still hoard everything, and now they're looting corpses, and I'm like, why? It's like, because you never know what you might need. I'm like, you're a hoarder. You are a hoarder, Carl.
So the other
Your
day,
inventory must look like a goddamn mess. That's a thing I can't put into my head right now, is like, how are you bringing up inventory for anything? I guess it's because of like the mental connection. You can just be like, oh, I need this, and it just appears.
Yeah.
But that would be a nightmare to actually try to put that in UI. Like,
you're thinking in the normal UI, like
your brain just explodes. You're like, this is the grossest. And this is worse than Baldur's Gate 3's inventory management system on the initial.
Right.
When everyone's like, this is gross. It's too much. I can't organize anything. It's just awful. Imagine that, but I don't know, times 100,000,
Right.
or like times infinity, because it literally can just be anything, any amount of stuff. As long as you can pick it up, you can put it in your inventory.
Correct.
Yeah. And
That's a
I
lot.
like the AI. The AI is the dice roll that happens.
Yeah, I love
In
the
the book.
AI. It's I'm always excited to hear the AI, and I already did my new achievement thing on the last cast. So you're gonna have to go, if you join mid thing, you're gonna have to check my impersonation
Yeah.
of that. I'm getting better at it.
There you go.
But I am so anytime someone says, "Oh, and you did this thing," and I'm like, I want to say it, 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 but I'm not. I'm trying to have some restraint. Yeah. Oh, actually, I did convince one of the people on the team to. He says, "Oh, he had some credit on Audible while we were out for dinner last night."
Might as well give it a try.
And he did. I'm like, good.
Yep.
He was the only one in the entire group, and our director was looking at me, and he just shook his head. Yeah.
We convert them one person at
One
a time.
person at a time.
So just like a religion,
It's like a crack
Cult?
Karen.
a cult. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Last night, the other night, we were talking about Dungeon Carl, and you had
Dungeon
and you had a very interesting theory on Katya.
Yeah.
Please share.
What I think is gonna. So
yeah.
okay, so Carl and Donut, well, specifically Carl, has a nemesis. It's because he ended up inadvertently killing someone's daughter.
That was
Rough. And I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
And that person is like basically sworn vengeance. And her item that they got, because the system is basically sees, ooh, drama. Let's put these people together in different ways, or let's help this person get an item that's going to really fuck over this other person. The item that the parent of the person that Carl inadvertently killed, he obviously would never do that, but it was meant for them, but they didn't know she had a daughter. She got a potion that she can drink, and it allows her to see. It was like a really high level potion. It was like a platinum loot box or something. She got the potion that allows her to see any person of her choosing anywhere in the dungeon.
Crawler.
Any crawler. Sorry, that's what they call players in this. Any crawler anywhere in the dungeon. It shows like their name and so forth. So Katya, her race, because she got to pick a new race, which is really interesting. I like this. I'll get into the whole first time user experience thing later, but her ability is she can morph, like she's a doppelganger. She can turn into another creature. And she just learned how to change her ability to actually put a different name above her head. And when Carl and Donut came back from this thing, there's Katya, and she's changed into, what is it, Hecla?
Hecla.
Right? And with the name, and it took Carl back for a second, and Donut nitpicked on details, but he says, "Wow, that was really good. If I was her, I would have been really creeped out right now." And I think the person that's going to be coming after Carl, this is my guess, is that either they're going to plan to have her turn into Carl and have the name tag and everything, so that means she'll be able to track that Carl, the clone Carl, on the map, and she's going to die. She's going to get killed, and either it's going to be by accident, or it's going to be as part of a plan, which probably backfires or something. But that is how I believe Katya is going to die. That's my guess. I don't know exactly.
I said good theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm pulling from that. I'm like, am I right? I think I'm right on that one. So we'll have to see how that plays out.
I'm trying my best poker face, but
I'm looking at you both now. I'm like, I'm
poker.
scanning. I'm like,
Suck at poker.
I suck at poker. I'm always like, I'm always expressing
just hide behind the microphone more. And
cold, dead eyes.
All right. We're almost at time. I want to do one more parkour and spreadsheet, but we're going to change it up this time. So one of you pick a game.
Go ahead, Chaz.
Squad.
Oh,
We already covered this. I thought we covered this.
Wait. This is the change. Your spreadsheet.
I'm spreadsheet?
Robin, your spreadsheet. Chaz, your parkour. Debate.
Squad is spreadsheet because you have a lot of different. Well, we're kind of Milsim adjacent. First of all, let's just put that into a thought. If you don't know what Squad is, it's a military shooter, which has a lot of authenticity behind it. I say it's spreadsheet just from the menus alone into the deployment screen. You're looking at getting into the weapons and roles. Those are all broken down into, this is the fire rate of weapons. These are the drop-offs for bullet penetration layers. You've got physics, which is nothing but we have literal spreadsheets. We have literal spreadsheets for weapons and vehicles, right down to the nitty-gritty physics of friction or, drop off.
And none of it means anything
cetera.
unless the player is actually immersed and role-playing as their character, and that's where the parkour comes in. You're communicating, you're experiencing moment-to-moment action and making split-second decisions. You're not in a spreadsheet brain. You're not strategizing in the same way as a spreadsheet. You are reacting usually to the commander or to the squad leader's thoughts and plans.
The squad leader's
and
thoughts.
You're executing.
The squad leader's thoughts or the commander's thoughts are literally going around. They know the more in-depth detail about why you need to go set up a hab here. It's going to take X amount of time for you to set this up, and it's going to create a ring. Like the radio, like placing down a radio, like denies other radios, and that's set to a specific radius. That's what you're doing. Well, that's what they're doing.
If you're just the same time as the core activity of pointing a gun at something and firing, or even interacting with the map.
He's got blueberry brain.
Second.
Blueberry brain.
Well, fuck you.
Oh, that was great. All right, we can wrap this up, I think. I'd like to thank all of us here today. It was really interesting diving deep in some of these topics, and I have a feeling we're going to dive deep into these topics again.
I have a feeling we're going to go out for a beer now and bitch about this all again.
Of course.
But how dare you? How dare you say it's this?
All right.
It's beer and cake every day if you're a lead.
Well, at EA, all the leads had beer fridges.
Oh, we didn't talk about that. Yeah, should have talked about the beer fridge fiasco.
Yeah.
Or like the drawers with the whiskey and
Yeah,
whiskey in the drawers. Or you know what? Some people can just put it on their desk. It'd just be sitting, bam, right there.
Yeah.
do that next time.
Yeah, we'll do that next time. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Did we do the like and subscribe, or are you adding that in?
Or we're going to add that in.
Good catch. See ya.
Thank you.